Please help me to reach 1,000 subscribers. The phone rang at 5:12 a.m., that thin slice of morning when the prison seemed to hold its breath. Sign here, the guard said, pushing the clipboard through the slot. He didn't look at me. They never did on release days, as if freedom were something you could catch by accident. My phone vibrated in my pocket. What? Then again. I let it keep buzzing. I didn't need to check the screen. I already knew. 2 years earlier there had been another early morning. Another corridor. Walls too white. Air sharp with antiseptic. My wife's sister lay curled on a hospital bed, folded in on herself like a sentence cut off mid-thought. My wife stood at the foot of the bed, hands clasped too carefully as if she'd practiced. When she said my name, her voice didn't tremble. It didn't have to. They said stress caused it. They said my anger caused it. They said a shove, one that never happened, had finished what bad luck began. I didn't fight them then. I watched instead. I noticed how her sister wouldn't meet my eyes. I noticed how my wife's phone kept lighting up and going dark, like a pulse she couldn't quiet. I refused every visit after that. Month after month. You learn quickly how powerful absence can be. How silence can starve a lie until it starts eating itself. The buzzer snapped me back to the present. The gate slid open. My phone buzzed again. I smiled carefully without showing my teeth. In court they turned me into weather. A man with a temper like a thunderhead. The kind of husband accidents supposedly circle. My wife testified calmly, like she was following instructions. Measured. Precise. No unnecessary emotion. She cried once, right on cue, not when she said my name but when she said her sister's. I watched the judge's pen instead. Pens tell you everything. When someone hesitates, when they decide, when it's over. The story worked because it was neat. Because grief likes a clear villain. Because someone had to pay and I was already standing there. Prison strips life down to patterns. Count. Sleep. Think. Then think again. I replayed that day until the edges wore smooth. The argument they swore happened. The door they claimed I slammed. The bruise they insisted they saw. None of it existed in my memory, and my memory hoards detail like evidence. What bothered me wasn't the accusation itself. It was how well everyone moved together. The sister's quiet compliance. The timeline bending just enough to fit. The way my wife never once asked me why. That's when I understood. This wasn't grief searching for truth. This was relief pretending to mourn. So I became patient. You learn patience when the door locks behind you and no one asks how you feel about it. I requested my case file. I read it like accounting, not confession. Dates. Times. Phone records. Hospital notes. I wrote letters to myself on scraps of paper and burned them. I practiced a neutral face in mirrors that didn't forgive you for existing. A lifer showed me how to ask questions without actually asking. People talk, he said, tapping ash into a cup, when they think you've got nothing left to lose. I traced the week before the miscarriage. My wife's sister had a boyfriend she never mentioned. Married men are better at hiding than single ones. I checked clinic hours. I checked cameras that were down for maintenance that month. I noted a nurse who switched shifts halfway through the week. Records cost favors. Time helps too. The phone logs arrived last like they always do. Patterns surfaced slowly like bruises after sleep. Calls late at night. Calls that stopped the moment my number appeared. One number kept returning, faint but consistent, like a watermark. I memorized it. I waited. 6 months before my release, an envelope showed up. No return address. Inside were screenshots, dates circled in red, and a voice memo transcript done by someone who despised punctuation. Her sister hadn't been fragile. She'd been careless. An affair with a married man whose wife couldn't conceive. A pregnancy that was never supposed to happen. A fight, real, loud, and violent, that had nothing to do with me. The stress was real. The cause wasn't. I checked everything twice. Then a third time. During yard time, I borrowed a phone and called the number. A woman answered. Not my wife. Stop calling, she said. We agree, I replied. Agreed. That was all she said before hanging up. I didn't confront anyone. I didn't need shouting. I needed calendars. On the morning of my release, I sat in a cafe across from the courthouse and sent 3 emails. Attachments included call logs, an affidavit, and a notarized statement from a nurse who had taken a plea for falsifying a timestamp. I copied the bar association. I copied my wife. I drank bitter coffee and watched people hurry past, all of them convinced they were heading somewhere safe. They were waiting at the gate. My wife looked smaller. Her sister clutched her scarf like it might disappear. I'm sorry, my wife said. It was the first thing she'd said to me in 2 years. For what? I asked. Her sister flinched. That was new. We walked toward the parking lot. No embraces. No tears. Just footsteps, steady and final, and the sound of a plan finishing itself. My phone chimed. Then chimed again. My wife's face lost color in stages, like dusk running backward. What did you do? She asked. I handed her the phone and let her read. Let her scroll herself out of the story she'd written. She made a sound that didn't belong to any language. You destroyed us, she said. No, I told her. I stopped pretending. The lawsuit reached her workplace first. The ethics complaint followed. Wrongful termination came after that, inevitable as gravity. Her sister's settlement vanished when the insurer pulled coverage for fraud. The married man's wife filed loudly and publicly. I never raised my voice. There was no need. I didn't go home with them. I didn't go anywhere they could trace. 2 years teaches you how little you actually require. A bed. A window. A lock you control. That night, alone, I unpacked a toothbrush and a clean shirt. I folded the shirt carefully. I set the toothbrush in a cup like a promise I meant to keep. They called. I let it ring. The truth doesn't need witnesses. It needs timing. I slept with the window open. The city sounded different when it wasn't accusing you. In the morning, I threw the envelope away. Some losses don't ask to be grieved.